Jake Morrison felt cold metal against his face as he slowly opened his eyes. The cryosleep pod around him made soft beeping sounds. Blue lights blinked on and off above his head. His body felt stiff and heavy, like he had been sleeping for years. "Welcome back, Captain Morrison," said a calm voice. It was Phoenix, the ship's computer. "You have been asleep for 300 years. We have received an important signal." Jake tried to sit up. His muscles were weak from the long sleep. "What kind of signal?" he asked. "It comes from our home, Galaxy, from humans who are still alive." Jake's heart began to beat faster. For 500,000 years, their ship had traveled through empty space between galaxies. They were the last humans left, or so they thought. His ancestors had escaped Earth when the Zephyrian Empire destroyed it. The reptile aliens had killed billions of people and turned Earth into a dead rock. "Wake the others," Jake said. "Wake." Everyone. Across the huge ship called Eternal Dawn, more cryosleep pods began to open. People who had been asleep for centuries started to wake up. They were tired and confused, but also excited. The ship carried 50,000 humans, all that was left of their species. Dr. Lisa Campbell was one of the first to reach the main meeting room. She was a small woman with gray hair who knew everything about human history. She carried an old data pad that held the last messages from Earth. "The signal is real," she told Jake. "It comes from the Kepler system. Someone has been hiding there for 500,000 years. Commander Ryan Mitchell walked into the room. He was a big man with scars on his arms from training fights. He was in charge of the ship's soldiers. "How do we know it's not a trap?" he asked. "Because they know the old codes," said Chief Engineer Katie Brooks. She was young but very smart with machines. They sent the emergency signal that only Earth survivors would know. Jake looked at the big screen on the wall. It showed their home galaxy far away, full of stars. Somewhere in that galaxy was Earth, the planet where humans had lived for millions of years before the Zephyrians came. "Tell me about Earth," Jake said to Lisa. Lisa touched her data pad. Pictures appeared on the screen. They showed a beautiful blue and green planet with white clouds. And the pictures changed. They showed the same planet, but it was brown and dead. No plants, no water, no life. "The Zephyrians wanted our quantum crystals," Lisa said. "These crystals could power their ships and weapons. They dug them out of Earth's core. When they took the crystals, our planet died." "What happened to our people?" asked a young woman named Amy Foster. She was new to the command team. "Most died fighting," Lisa said. "Some were taken as slaves. A few thousand escaped in ships like ours. We are probably the only ones left." "Not anymore," said Katie. "The signal proves that some humans survived. They have been hiding and waiting." Jake walked to the big window that showed space outside. Stars were everywhere, but they looked different than the stars near Earth. "Phoenix, how long until we reach our galaxy?" "At current speed, 18 months, the computer said. "Can we go faster?" "Yes, but it would use much power. We would need to wake more people from sleep to run the ship." Jake nodded. "Do it. Wake 10,000 people. We're going home." Ryan stepped forward. "Captain, we need to be careful. The Zephyrians still control our galaxy. They have had 500,000 years to make their empire stronger. Then we'll make ourselves stronger too," Jake said. "Katie, what weapons do we have?" Katie smiled. "While we slept, Phoenix has been working. Our ship can build things now that Earth never dreamed of. We have quantum weapons that can cut through any armor. We have ships that can hide in folded space. The Zephyrians won't see us coming," added Amy. Lisa looked worried. "But there are billions of them now. They control thousands of planets. We are just 50,000 people." "Sometimes 50,000 is enough," Ryan said. especially when those 50,000 are very angry. Jake turned back to the group. Phoenix, open a channel to the entire ship. I want to talk to everyone. Channel open, Captain. Jake's voice went to every part of the huge ship. In sleeping areas, workrooms, and gardens, humans stopped what they were doing to listen. My fellow humans, Jake said. Today we learned that we are not alone. Our people survived on a hidden world. They have waited 500,000 years for us to return. Now that time has come. He paused. Around the ship, people were crying and hugging each other. The Zephyrians think they won. They think humans are gone forever. They are wrong. We carry the memories of Earth in our hearts. We carry the dreams of all the humans who died. And now we carry something else, the power to make things right. We will return to our galaxy. We will find our hidden brothers and sisters. And we will show the Zephyrians that humanity never gives up. They destroyed our world, but they could not destroy our spirit. Jake's voice grew stronger. Prepare yourselves. Learn to fight. Learn to hope. Our long journey is almost over. Soon we go home. When Jake finished talking, the ship was quiet for a moment. Then people began to cheer. The sound echoed through every hall and room. Lisa walked over to Jake. Do you think we can really win? Jake looked at the stars ahead of them. I don't know if we can win, but I know we have to try. Earth is calling us home. In the weeks that followed, the ship became very busy. People trained with new weapons. Engineers built fighter ships. Scientists studied old data about the Zephyrian Empire. Phoenix worked day and night, making plans for the war ahead. The computer had learned much during the long journey. It knew how to hurt the reptile aliens. Jake often stood by the big window, watching space. Soon they would see their home galaxy again. Soon they would meet the humans who had hidden for so long. Soon the real fight would begin. The eternal dawn moved closer to the Milky Way galaxy. Jake Morrison stood on the bridge, watching the stars grow brighter. After 18 months of travel, they were almost home. Captain, we're getting stronger signals now, said Amy Foster. She was working at the communication station. The hidden humans are sending us information about the galaxy. What do they say? Jake asked. Amy looked at her screen. The Zephyrian Empire is huge now. They control most star systems. But there's good news, too. They've become lazy and weak. Dr. Lisa Campbell joined them. She had been studying the new information all night. The reptiles think they're safe, she said. They haven't fought a real war in thousands of years. Most of their work is done by slaves from other planets. Commander Ryan Mitchell walked onto the bridge. He looked tired, but excited. My teams are ready for the scouting mission. We'll take stealth ships and see what we're really up against. Be careful, Jake said. We can't let them know we're here yet. Ryan nodded. Don't worry. Our new ships are invisible to their sensors. The scouting mission took 3 weeks. When Ryan returned, he brought back shocking news. The Zephyrian Empire was even bigger than they thought, but it was also more fragile. They have millions of ships, Ryan told the command team. But most of them are old and badly maintained. Their soldiers are slaves from conquered worlds. Many of those slaves hate their reptile masters. Katie Brooks had been studying the technical data. Their weapons are still the same type they used 500,000 years ago. They never improved because no one challenged them. What about Earth? Jake asked quietly. Ryan's face grew dark. Earth's moon is now a giant fortress. The reptiles use it as their main base in the Sol system. And Earth, double quotes, he paused. Earth is still dead. They keep it as a monument to their victory. Lisa felt angry tears in her eyes. They're proud of what they did to us. Not for much longer, Jake said Amy had been listening to radio signals from across the galaxy. "I've found something interesting," she said. "The slave races talk about old stories. Stories about humans who would return someday to free them. They remember us?" Lisa asked. "Some do. They call us the Ghost Warriors in their legends. They say humans could appear and disappear like spirits." Katie smiled. "Well, they're not wrong about the appearing and disappearing part." Over the next few months, the Eternal Dawn moved to a hidden spot at the edge of the galaxy. Jake ordered full construction of their new fleet. Katie and her engineers worked around the clock. "Show me what we've built," Jake said to Katie one. Katie led him to the massive construction bay. Inside, dozens of sleek black ships were being built. They looked different from any human ship ever made before. "We call them ghost ships," Katie said. "They use quantum phase technology. They can exist partially outside normal space. Enemy sensors can't detect them, and enemy weapons can't hit them. How many can we build? 500 combat ships. Each one is more powerful than anything the Zephyrians have." Jake walked around one of the ships. It was beautiful and deadly at the same time. "What weapons do they carry?" "Quantum torpedoes. That can punch through any shield. Plasma cannons that burn hotter than stars. And something special, nanobots that can take control of enemy ships." "Nanobots?" Katie's eyes sparkled. "Tiny robots smaller than dust. They get inside enemy ships and take control of their computers. The Zephyrians won't know what hit them." Meanwhile, Ryan was training the human fighters. Everyone on the ship who could hold a weapon was learning to fight. Men, women, even teenagers practiced every day. "Why are we so much better at fighting than before?" asked a young man named Ben Hayes. Ryan thought about it. 500,000 years of evolution. Our ancestors were already tough. The journey through space made us tougher. And we have something the Zephyrians don't have anymore. "What's that?" "Hunger. We're hungry for justice. They're just fat and lazy." Lisa spent her time studying everything they knew about the Zephyrian Empire. She made maps of their important worlds and lists of their leaders. "Their emperor is named Vashtak," she told Jake. "He's ruled for 2,000 years. The reptiles live much longer than humans." "Where does he live?" "In a palace on their capital world, Zephyr Prime. But he also spends time at Earth's moon fortress. He likes to look at our dead planet." Jake felt his anger grow. He won't be looking much longer. Phoenix, the ship's computer, had been working on battle plans. "Captain, I have completed the strategic analysis," it said one day. "What do you recommend?" "We should start with small attacks on remote outposts. This will test our weapons and confuse the enemy. They will not know where we come from or how many we are. And then we strike at their supply lines. The Zephyrian Empire is big, but it needs constant supplies to keep working. Cut the supplies, and the Empire will start to fall apart." Amy had been in contact with the hidden human colony. "Sam Parker wants to meet with you," she told Jake. "Sam Parker?" "The leader of the survivors. He's very old, but he's been planning for this day his whole life." Jake agreed to the meeting. A small shuttle took him to the hidden colony on Kepler 442b's moon. The place was built inside the moon itself, completely hidden from Zephyrian sensors. Parker was ancient by human standards, but his eyes were sharp and intelligent. "I've been waiting 90 years to meet you," he said to Jake. "You've been planning that long?" "Longer. My grandfather started planning. His grandfather before him. We've been preparing for 500,000 years." Sam led Jake through the hidden base. Thousands of humans lived there, all descendants of the original survivors. They had libraries full of information about the Zephyrian Empire. "We know everything about them," Sam said. "Where they live, how they think, what they fear. They have one great fear above all others. What's that? The return of humanity. Their own prophecies say that humans will come back to destroy them. They've been looking for us for centuries. Jake was surprised. They've been looking for us? Oh yes, they know we escaped. It bothers them that they didn't kill every human. They can't sleep peacefully knowing we're out there somewhere. Good, Jake said. They should be afraid. Sam smiled. They don't know how afraid they should be. They think we're still the same humans who left Earth 500,000 years ago. They have no idea what we've become. When Jake returned to the true eternal dawn, he called a meeting of all the ship's leaders. The time for hiding is over, he said. Sam Parker's people have given us everything we need to know about the enemy. Katie has built us the most powerful fleet in the galaxy. Ryan has trained us to be the best fighters we can be. He looked around the room at the faces of his friends and fellow humans. Tomorrow, we begin our return to the galaxy. We start with small strikes to test our strength. But our goal never changes. We're going home to Earth. And we're going to make the Zephyrians pay for every human life they took. Lisa raised her hand. What if we can't win? What if there are too many of them? Jake thought about all the humans who had died on Earth. He thought about the children who never got to grow up, the families torn apart, the dreams destroyed. Then we'll die fighting, he said, but we won't die quietly. The Zephyrians will. Remember the day humanity came home. And maybe, just maybe, we'll win. The meeting ended, and people went back to their work. Ships were loaded with weapons. Fighters put on their armor. Engineers made final checks on all systems. Jake stood alone on the bridge, looking at the stars of his home galaxy. Soon, those stars would see war again. But this time, humans would not be the victims. This time, humans were coming home to stay. Jake Morrison stood in the command center of the ship Vengeance Rising. It was the largest and most powerful ship in the human fleet. Around him, his crew prepared for their first attack on the Zephyrian Empire. Target confirmed, said Ben Hayes. From the weapons station. Arcturus Station is exactly where our intelligence said it would be. Through the main screen, Jake could see the Zephyrian outpost. It was a large metal structure built around a small planet. The station had defense towers and dozens of ships docked to it. How many Zephyrians? Jake asked. About 10,000, said Claire Thompson from the communications post. Plus twice that many slaves from other races. Jake felt a cold anger in his chest. Even this small outpost used slaves. The Zephyrians had learned nothing in 500,000 years. Phoenix, are our ships in position? Jake asked. The computer's voice came from the speakers. All ghost ships are ready, Captain. The enemy cannot see us. Jake looked around at his crew. Amy Foster was at the sensor station. Ryan Mitchell stood ready to coordinate the attack. Katie Brooks monitored the ship's new weapon systems. This is it, Jake said. Our first strike against the empire that destroyed Earth. Make it count. The Zephyrian station floated peacefully in space. Its reptile defenders had no idea that 50 human ships surrounded them. Invisible and deadly. Inside the station, a Zephyrian commander named Skelter was reviewing supply reports. He was bored. Nothing ever happened at Arcturus Station. It was too far from important systems for anyone to attack. Sir, said one of his officers, we're getting strange readings on the sensors. Skelter looked up with annoyance. What kind of readings? I'm not sure. It's like shadows moving in space. Run a diagnostic on the sensors. They're probably broken again. The officer started to reply, but never got the chance. The human ships dropped out of quantum phase mode. Suddenly, 50 black ships appeared around the station like ghosts becoming real. The Zephyrians had never seen anything like them. What in the void are those? Skelter shouted. Unknown ships. His officer yelled. They just appeared from nowhere. On the Vengeance Rising, Jake gave the order. All ships open fire. The human weapons lit up space. Quantum torpedoes slammed into the station's shields. The shields, designed to stop normal weapons, collapsed instantly. Plasma cannons burned through the station's armor like it was paper. "Impossible," Skelter screamed. "Our shields are the strongest in the galaxy." His weapons officer was trying to fire back, but the human ships kept disappearing and reappearing. "I can't get a lock on them. They're not staying in normal space." The Zephyrian defense ships tried to launch, but Katie's nanobots were already at work. The tiny robots had entered the docking bays and taken control of the ship computers. "Our ships won't start," a pilot reported. "Something's wrong with the systems." Jake watched the battle from his command chair. It was going exactly as planned. The Zephyrians couldn't hit what they couldn't see, and they couldn't understand weapons that had been developed over 500,000 years. "Claire, open a channel to the station," Jake ordered. "Channel open, Captain." Jake's voice echoed through every speaker on the Zephyrian station. But this time, it wasn't Jake speaking. It was Lisa Campbell, and her words were calm and cold. "Attention, reptiles of the Zephyrian Empire. You probably don't remember us. 500,000 years ago, you destroyed our world. You killed our people. You thought you had won." On the station, Skelter felt a chill run down his spine. Those words, that species name ... couldn't be. "You were wrong," Lisa continued. "Humanity remembers. Humanity endures. And now, humanity returns." The message included video from Earth's final days. The Zephyrians watched in growing horror as they saw their ancestors strip mining the blue planet, killing billions of humans, turning a beautiful world into a dead rock. "We are the children of Earth," Lisa said. "We are the ghosts of your victims, and we have come home to collect what you owe us." The transmission ended. For a moment, the station was silent, except for the sounds of explosions as human weapons continued their attack. Then Skelter started screaming orders. "Send a message to command. Tell them the humans are back. Tell them." His words were cut off as a quantum torpedo hit the command center. The explosion vaporized half the station. Jake watched the destruction with mixed feelings. Part of him felt satisfaction in striking back, but another part felt sad that it had come to this. "Captain," Amy said, "we're picking up escape pods from the station." "Any humans in those pods?" "Yes, sir. About 3,000 slaves from various species. Some appear to be human descendants." Jake's heart jumped. "Bring them aboard. All of them." The rescue took 2 hours. When it was done, Jake went to meet the survivors. They were thin and scared, wearing the gray uniforms of Zephyrian slaves. An older man with scars on his face stepped forward. "Are you really human?" he asked in broken English. "Yes," Jake said. "We're your cousins from the deep dark. We've come to take you home." The man started to cry. "I didn't think any of us were left. The reptiles told us humans were extinct." "They lied," Jake said. "We've been hiding and growing strong. Now we're back." A young woman pushed through the crowd. "My grandmother told me stories about Earth. She said it was beautiful." "It will be beautiful again," Jake promised. News of the attack spread through the Zephyrian Empire faster than light. On the capital world, Emperor Voshtak received the report with disbelief. "Humans?" he hissed. "Impossible. We wiped them out." His military advisor, a scarred reptile named General Thekmer, shook his head. "Obviously not, Your Imperial Majesty." The survivors at Arcturus described weapons we've never seen before. "How many ships?" "At least 50. Possibly more. They can become invisible and attack from quantum phase space." Voshtak slammed his clawed fist on his throne. I want every fleet commander on alert. Double the guards at all stations. And send scouts to search for their base. But the human fleet was already gone. They had vanished back into quantum phase space, leaving only wreckage and terrified survivors behind. On the Vengeance Rising, Jake called his senior staff together. "How did we do?" he asked. Ryan smiled. "Perfect execution. 0 casualties on our side. We destroyed their entire defensive capability." Katie nodded. The new weapons worked exactly as designed. Their shields and armor are useless against quantum phase. Technology. And the psychological impact? Jake asked Lisa. Exactly what we wanted. Fear is spreading through their empire. They thought humans were extinct. Now they know we're not only alive, but more dangerous than ever. Amy had been monitoring. Zephyrian communications. They're recalling ships from frontier systems. Panic is spreading among their military commanders. Good, Jake said. Fear makes people make mistakes. Claire looked worried, but they'll be ready for us next time. They know we're coming now. Jake walked to the window and looked out at the stars. Let them be ready. We have 500,000 years of anger to work through. One station was just the beginning. He turned back to his crew. Send word to all human ships. We hit 3 more outposts tomorrow. Different systems, same time. Let's show them what ghosts can do. The crew dispersed to prepare for the next attacks. Jake remained alone, thinking about the human slaves they had rescued. Some of them were descendants of the original Earth survivors. They had lived as slaves for thousands of generations, but they had never forgotten where they came from. Soon, Jake thought, no human would be a slave ever again. Phoenix's voice interrupted his thoughts. Captain, I have completed analysis of the Zephyrian response. What did you find? They are more afraid than expected. Their own prophecies speak of humanity's return. They have been dreading this day for millennia. Their prophecies? Yes. Ancient Zephyrian texts say that the burning souls will return to bring judgment. They believe humans are those burning souls. Jake smiled grimly. If the Zephyrians thought humans were burning souls coming for judgment, then that's exactly what they would be. The war for the galaxy had begun. 6 months after the first attack, the galaxy was at war. Jake Morrison, now Admiral of the Human Fleet, stood in the command center of their new mobile base. The Eternal Dawn had been transformed into a giant factory ship, building more Ghost. Ships every day. Status report, Jake asked his command staff. Commander Ryan Mitchell stepped forward. We've hit 47 Zephyrian outposts, freed over 200,000 slaves. Enemy casualties are in the millions. Our losses? 12. Ships damaged, 0 destroyed. 43 humans wounded, 3 killed. Jake nodded grimly. Even 3 deaths were too many, but against an empire of billions, they were doing better than anyone had dreamed. Chief Engineer Katie Brooks brought up a holographic map of the galaxy. Red dots showed Zephyrian-controlled systems. Blue dots showed human victories. There were many more blue dots than there had been 6 months ago. The reptiles are pulling back from frontier systems, Katie said. They're concentrating their fleets around core worlds. Dr. Lisa Campbell had disturbing news. I've been studying captured Zephyrian computers. They've been searching for us for centuries. There are ancient texts that describe our return. What do they say? Jake asked. They call it the time of burning judgment. Their prophets said that one day the ghosts of destroyed worlds would return to balance the scales. Amy Foster looked up from her communication station. The freed slaves are spreading word across the galaxy. Dozens of species are starting to rebel against their Zephyrian masters. This was the best news yet. Jake had hoped that other races would join the fight, but he hadn't expected it to happen so quickly. Where are the biggest rebellions? He asked. The vegan system, the Centauri colonies, and surprisingly, the Tau Ceti mining worlds, Amy replied. Ben Hayes was monitoring intelligence reports. The Tau Ceti rebels are asking for our help. They have weapons factories, but no way to get the weapons off planet. Jake thought about this. Tau Ceti was deep in Zephyrian space, heavily defended. But if they could help the rebels there, it would create a powerful ally behind enemy lines. How many ships would we need? He asked Ryan. For a quick strike? 20. Ships for a full liberation? At least 50. Do it. Take 50 ships and free Tau Ceti. Ryan smiled. Yes, sir. While Ryan prepared for the Tau Ceti mission, Jake received an urgent message from Sam Parker at the hidden colony. Admiral, Sam said through the communication link, I have important news. We've discovered something about Earth. What kind of something? The quantum crystals. The Zephyrians didn't take them all. Earth's core still has millions of crystals, but they're dormant. Jake felt his heart race. Dormant? They need a specific energy pattern to reactivate. If we could restore them, Earth might come back to life. Katie overheard this conversation. What kind of energy pattern? Sam's old face showed excitement. Human neural energy. The crystals were connected to human consciousness. That's why Earth died when we left. The crystals went to sleep. So if humans return to Earth, ... quotes Jake began. The planet could heal itself, Sam finished. This changed everything. Jake had been planning to eventually assault Earth's moon fortress. But if Earth itself could be restored, the stakes were much higher. Sam, send us all the data you have. Katie, I want you to study this immediately. 3 weeks later, Ryan returned from Tau Ceti with incredible news. Not only had they freed the system, but they had gained 30,000 new fighters from various alien races. They're good fighters, Ryan reported. The bird people from Altair are excellent pilots. The rock people from Vega are tough as nails. And the water people from Kepler are amazing with electronics. Jake was pleased. A human fleet was becoming a true galactic alliance, but the Zephyrians were not sitting idle. Emperor Voshtak had called together his most powerful military leaders. These humans are more dangerous than our ancestors faced, he told his generals. They have technology we don't understand. They appear and disappear like spirits. General Thakmer bowed his massive reptilian head. Your Imperial Majesty, our scientists believe they are using quantum phase manipulation. Can we copy this technology? We are trying, but it may take years to understand. We don't have years, Voshtak roared. Every day, more systems rebel. Our empire is falling apart. An intelligence officer stepped forward nervously. Your Majesty, we have intercepted human communications. They are planning an assault on the Sol system. Voshtak's eyes glowed with fierce light. Earth? They want their dead world back? It appears so, Your Majesty. Perfect. Voshtak smiled, showing rows of sharp teeth. Let them come. We will be waiting. Meanwhile, Katie had made an amazing discovery about Earth's quantum crystals. Jake, you need to see this, she said, pulling up complex diagrams on her computer. What am I looking at? Earth's core. The quantum crystals form a network that once connected to every human mind on the planet. When humans left, the network shut down. And if humans returned, the network would restart. But it's more than that. The crystals have been storing energy for 500,000 years. If we can reactivate them, Earth won't just heal. It will become more powerful than it ever was before. Jake stared at the diagrams. How powerful? Powerful. Enough to terraform other dead worlds. Powerful enough to restore entire ecosystems. Earth could become the heart of a new galactic civilization. But there was a problem. Dr. Campbell had been studying the defenses around Earth's moon fortress. "It's not just a military base," she told Jake. "The Zephyrians have built a quantum suppression field around the entire Sol system. Any ship that enters normal space there will be trapped." "What about our quantum phase drives?" "The suppression field affects quantum phase space too. We could get in, but we might not be able to get out." Jake gathered his senior staff for a crucial meeting. "Here's the situation," he said. "Earth can be restored, but only if we can reach it. The Sol system is defended by the largest fleet in the galaxy, plus a quantum suppression field." Ryan looked at the tactical data. "Their fleet has over 10,000 ships. We have 500. "But our ships are better," Katie pointed out. "Better enough to fight 20-1 odds?" Amy asked. "There might be another way," Lisa said quietly. "The Zephyrian prophecies mention something called the Final Judgment. It says that when the burning souls return to their origin world, the Empire of Scales will fall." "Prophecies aren't battle plans," Ryan said. "No, but they affect how the enemy thinks. The Zephyrians are terrified of their own prophecies. If we can make them believe the Final Judgment is coming, they might make mistakes." Jake thought about this. Fear was a powerful weapon, sometimes more effective than guns or ships. "What would convince them that their final judgment has arrived?" Lisa smiled. "A human fleet heading directly for Earth, no matter what the odds." "Ben." Hayes had been quiet during the discussion. Now he spoke up. "There's something else to consider. The slaves we freed, they're scattered across the galaxy. If we call them to fight, how many would come?" Amy checked her communications logs. "Based on the messages we've received, maybe 500,000 fighters from a dozen species." 500,000, Jake repeated. "That's not enough to match the Zephyrian fleet, but it's enough to cause chaos across their empire." A plan began to form. In Jake's mind, it was dangerous, maybe impossible, but it might work. "Here's what we're going to do," he said. "We're going to split our forces. Ryan, you'll take half our ships and coordinate with the freed slaves. Hit every major Zephyrian base at the same time. And the other half comes with me to Earth. We're going to fly straight into their biggest fleet and show them what humans can do when we're really angry." Katie looked worried. "Jake, that's suicide." "Maybe, but if we can restore Earth's quantum crystals, it won't matter how many ships they have. Earth itself will become our ally." Lisa pulled up the ancient Zephyrian texts. According to their prophecies, when the burning souls return to the origin world, the dead planet will awaken and judge the living. "Let's make their prophecy come true," Jake said. The meeting ended, and preparations began for the largest military operation in human history. Ships were loaded with weapons. Fighters said goodbye to friends. Engineers made final checks on all. Systems.Jake stood alone in his quarters, looking at an old picture of Earth from before the Zephyrians came. Soon he would see that world again, either to restore it to life or to die trying. Either way, the Zephyrians were about to learn why humans never forgot and never forgave. Admiral Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the Vengeance Rising as his fleet approached the Sol system. Through the main screen, he could see Earth's sun growing larger. After 500,000 years, humanity was coming home. Fleet status? Jake asked. 250 ships ready for battle, reported Commander Amy Foster. All quantum phase drives functioning normally. Enemy fleet? Ben Hayes looked up from his sensors. 8,000 Zephyrian ships surrounding Earth's moon fortress. They're waiting for us. Dr. Lisa Campbell was monitoring Zephyrian communications. They know we're coming. Emperor Voshtak himself is on the moon fortress. Good, Jake said. I want to look him in the eye when we end his empire. Chief Engineer Katie Brooks was nervous about the quantum suppression field. Jake, once we enter normal space near Earth, We won't be able to use our phase drives. We'll be trapped, I know. But Earth's quantum crystals are worth the risk. The human fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Sol system. Ahead of them, Earth floated like a brown, dead marble. The moon beside it bristled, with weapons and ships. Phoenix, begin broadcasting on all frequencies. Jake ordered. The ship's computer activated transmission systems throughout the fleet. Jake's voice reached every Zephyrian ship, every monitoring station, every communication center in the Empire. Zephyrians of the galaxy, this is Admiral Jake Morrison of the human fleet. 500,000 years ago, you destroyed our world and scattered our people. You thought you had won. You were wrong. On the moon fortress, Emperor Voshtak listened to the transmission with growing fear. The human was speaking calmly, but there was something terrifying in his voice. We are the children of Earth, the ghosts of your victims, the burning souls your prophets warned you about. We have returned to our origin world. Your final judgment begins now. The transmission ended. For a moment, space was silent. Then the largest space battle in galactic history began. The Zephyrian fleet charged forward, 8,000 ships against 250. But as they attacked, the human ships did something unexpected. They flew straight toward Earth, ignoring the enemy fleet entirely. "Sir," shouted a Zephyrian officer, "they're not fighting us. They're heading for the planet." Emperor Voshtak realized what was happening. The quantum crystals. They're trying to reach the crystals. Stop them. But it was too late. The human ships entered Earth's atmosphere in a spectacular light show. Most of the Zephyrian fleet couldn't follow. Their ships were too big and clumsy for atmospheric flight. Jake's ship landed in what had once been North America. The ground was dead and rocky, but deep below, he could feel something stirring. The quantum crystals sensed human presence for the first time in 500,000 years. Katie, begin the reactivation sequence. Jake ordered. Katie and her team set up quantum resonators across the landing site. The devices would create the neural energy pattern needed to wake Earth's sleeping crystals. This will take 30 minutes, Katie said. Can we hold them off that long? Jake looked up at the sky. Zephyrian ships were descending through the atmosphere, coming to stop them. We'll hold them, he promised. The battle for Earth began on the ground. Human fighters took defensive positions around the resonators, while Zephyrian troops landed nearby. But these weren't just any Zephyrians. They were led by Emperor Voshtak himself. The reptilian emperor was massive, twice the size of a normal Zephyrian, with scales that gleamed like metal armor. He carried weapons that could burn through solid rock. So Voshtak hissed as he approached the human position. The vermin returned to their dead nest. Commander Ryan Mitchell stepped forward to face him. We're not vermin anymore, reptile. We're your worst nightmare. The two leaders faced each other across the battlefield, while their armies fought around them. It was more than a military engagement. It was a symbol of everything that had happened between their species. Ryan was fast and skilled, but Voshtak was incredibly strong. They fought with weapons and fists, neither giving ground. Around them, humans and Zephyrians died in the ancient soil of Earth. Meanwhile, Katie's resonators were working. Deep underground, Earth's quantum crystals began to glow for the first time in 500,000 years. The planet itself was waking up. 20 minutes to full activation, Katie called out. But the space battle above was not going well. Even though human ships were superior, they were outnumbered 30-1. Ships were being destroyed. Good people were dying. Then something unexpected happened. The other human fleet, led by Ryan's second-in-command, arrived with 500,000 alien allies. Ships from dozens of species dropped out of faster-than-light travel and joined the battle. This is Commander Claire Thompson of the Liberation Fleet, came a voice over the radio. All free peoples of the galaxy, Attack! The bird people from Altair dove through space like living fighters. The rock people from Vega absorbed weapon fire and kept fighting. The water people from Kepler took control of Zephyrian computers from the inside, but the most important help came from an unexpected source. On dozens of Zephyrian ships, the slave crews rebelled. They had heard Jake's broadcast and decided to fight for their freedom. 10 minutes to activation, Cuddy reported. On the ground, Ryan and Vashtak were still fighting. Both were wounded and exhausted, but neither would give up. Your empire is falling, Ryan gasped. Your slaves are free. Your prophecy is coming true. Never, Vashtak roared. I will destroy this world before I let you have it. The Emperor pulled out a quantum bomb, a weapon that could destroy an entire planet. If he detonated it, Earth would be gone forever. But before he could activate the bomb, the ground began to shake. Earth's quantum crystals had reached critical. Activation. The planet was coming alive. Green light erupted from the soil. Dead rivers began to flow with clean water. The brown sky turned blue as a new atmosphere formed. Plants burst from the ground, growing at impossible speed. The Zephyrians stopped fighting and stared in terror. Their ancient prophecies were coming, true before their eyes. The dead world was judging the living. Emperor Vashtak dropped his weapon and fell to his knees. The final judgment, he whispered. It's real. Ryan picked up the quantum bomb and threw it into space, where it exploded, harmlessly. Then he looked down at the defeated emperor. Your war is over, Ryan said. Surrender, and we'll show you mercy. Keep fighting, and Earth itself will be your enemy. Across the planet and throughout the system, Zephyrian forces began to surrender. They had seen their worst fears come to life. The burning souls had returned to their origin world, and the dead planet had awakened to judge them. Jake stood among the growing plants and flowing water of the new Earth. The quantum crystals were not just healing the planet, they were making it better than it had ever been before. Dr. Campbell came to stand beside him. What happens now? She asked. Jake thought about all the humans who had died, all the species enslaved, all the suffering caused by the Zephyrian Empire. Now we choose, he said. We can be conquerors like they were, or we can be something better. Amy Foster had been monitoring communications across the galaxy. The Zephyrian Empire is collapsing. Rebellions everywhere. Most of their fleet is surrendering. And the Emperor? Captured. Ryan has him in custody. Jake nodded. Bring him here. I want to talk to him. When Emperor Vashtak was brought before, Jake, the massive reptile, looked broken and defeated. He had ruled the galaxy for 2,000 years, but now his empire was dust. Your people killed billions of humans, Jake said quietly. They turned our beautiful world into a dead rock. They enslaved entire species. Why? Vashtak looked up with ancient, tired eyes. Because we could. Because we were strong, and you were. Weak, because that is how the universe works. No, Jake said. That's how it used to work. Now it works differently. You will kill me now? Vashtak asked. Jake looked around at the new Earth, green and alive and beautiful. He thought about all the hatred that had driven them across the galaxy. He thought about the choice between vengeance and justice. No, Jake said finally, you will live. But you will spend your life helping to rebuild what your empire destroyed. You will work alongside the species you enslaved. You will see a galaxy where strength is used to protect, not to conquer. Vashtak stared at him in amazement. You would show mercy to your greatest enemy? We're not you, Jake said simply. We're better. In the months that followed, the galaxy began to heal. The Zephyrian Empire was broken up into free systems. Former slaves became the leaders of their own worlds. The most violent Zephyrians were put in prison, but most were given the chance to earn redemption through service. Earth became the capital of a new Galactic Confederation based on cooperation instead of conquest. The quantum crystals shared their power with other worlds, bringing dead planets back to life. Children played in Earth's new forests and swam in its clean oceans. Schools taught the history of the dark time when empires ruled through fear, and the bright time when free peoples chose to work together. Jake often walked through the gardens that grew where cities had once been destroyed. He thought about his ancestors who had died defending Earth, and the long journey through space that had brought humanity home. Dr. Campbell found him there one evening, watching the sunset over a world reborn.